name is Vuncell Jackson Vance, and I grew up in a small county in Georgia called Brooks County, Georgia. In 1918, the Spanish flu had ravaged America as well as ravaged a number of people in Brooks County, Georgia. Another thing which occurred in Brooks County, Georgia, which many people are not aware of, is that Brooks County, Georgia had the largest number of lynchings in America. The reason that this story is so prevalent in my family is because of the interaction of my grandmother and my grandfather during the time of what is known as the Mary Turner lynching. First, let me introduce you to my family. This is a picture of my great-great-grandfather and my great-great-aunts, Olivia and Sydney. This is a picture of my grandmother, Polly Mae James Jackson. It is estimated, my grandmother was a midwife, and it is estimated she delivered over 3,000 babies in Brooks County, Georgia. This is a picture of her husband, Andrew Jackson II. And this is a picture of my father, Charlie Milton Jackson Sr., and my mother, Willie Mae Jackson. And I will tell you, during this story, you will understand why these people are so prevalent in this story. In 1918, a white farmer had been murdered in Brooks County, Georgia. And they found the person who did the murdering. It was Sidney Johnson, but the white mob was going about lynching everybody that they came in contact with. Two of the people that they came in contact with during their rampage was my grandmother, Polly Mae James Jackson, and my grandfather, Andrew Jackson II. The year was 1918, and my grandmother was pregnant. She was pregnant with my father. My grandmother is the one who has passed this story on to us, and I think the reason is because it was so vivid in her mind what occurred to her during that time. The mob wanted to lynch my grandmother and my grandfather. The reason is because they were looking for Mary Turner. It was reported that Mary Turner was a black woman who was pregnant. The reason they were looking for Mary Turner is because the mob had lynched Mary's husband, Hayes Turner, for the killing of the white man, which I told you that they later found out that it was not Hayes Turner, but it was someone else that they said was Sidney Johnson who killed the white man. Mary Turner had the audacity to go to the jail and demand the release of her husband, Hayes Turner. This very act infuriated the white people in Brooks County, Georgia, which contributed to the savage rampage they went on, grabbing and murdering people. When they came upon my grandmother and my grandfather, and due to the fact that my grandmother was pregnant, they wanted to take her and lynch her and my grandfather. But there was a gentleman in the crowd, and for privacy's sake, I will not tell the name, but the family knows the name of the gentleman, spoke up and said, "That is not her. That is just Aunt Polly." So after defending them, he was able to get the mob to let my grandmother and my grandfather go on their way without lynching them. But it was not so for Mary Turner. The mob found Mary Turner and they tied her up and prepared the lynching tree for her. And later on in life, one of our neighbors who was 97 or then 98 years old, and he was on his sick bed, and my brother was able to capture it on camera. He was 12 years old at the time of the Mary lynching murder, of the Mary Turner lynching. And he told the story of what occurred to Mary Turner. The mob strung Mary up by her feet, hanged her upside down. They cut the baby out of her. And as the eyewitness said, the baby fell on the ground and the baby let out a cry and they stomped the baby to death. It was amazing for me to see when this gentleman told the story how he shivered, how he hesitated, because he was still afraid, even at the age of 97 and 98, that the people who were in the mob would come and get him and do the same to him. The people in the mob was known by members of the community. It was a very sad time for Brooks County, Georgia, and for my neighborhood. My grandfather and my grandmother, when they heard about what was going on, did all they could to go and rescue our family from Barney, Georgia, and bring them onto what is now Jackson Road, to hide them out and to protect them from the mob. But due to the lynching of Mary Turner, the Dyer Act, the Dyer Bill, was passed in 1922, which made lynching a federal crime in America. Thank you.